at this time.
So when you talk about ICE agents showing up outside of the schools during pickup, drop-off, can you give us some examples of like what's happening? Are they going up to students, or walk us through what that looks like?
So we've heard various things from across the state, from ICE agents standing close to school grounds during drop-off and pickup to circling the school properties. I don't know if anybody else would like to add some things, but Wendy, would you like
I
to
could add a little bit.
Yeah.
Our school, Valley View Elementary School, has been hit significantly. 142 kids didn't come to school yesterday. We're just a tiny elementary. The ICE agents, one did pull into the parking lot, and they know they can't, so they were asked to leave. But they stand on the other side of the street. Our schools are in neighborhoods. So we know they're there. The teachers know they're there, and they are circling. And it was a family that does attend our school, their kids. They were not home, and we found a way to keep the children safe. But that's just one person, one family. Our teachers are literally following the buses home because they don't know on the other end if there's going to be a parent or not. They're literally shopping and buying products, everything that they can do because people don't want to leave their homes. And the students, all the students are suffering. They don't know the next day if they'll have a friend or not. And the teachers are just, they're scared. They want their kids back, especially our special education teachers. So that's just an example.
And then you mentioned an example, I think, about pepper spray.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you all saw a couple of clips, whether it was social media or on the news. Yes, they were at Roosevelt High School. And the force that we witnessed, it was sad. We need ICE out of Minneapolis and out of Minnesota ASAP. Look at that video. It will break your heart.
I have a question for Donna from St. Cloud. Your representative is Representative Tom Emmer. He has spoken out in support of ICE and these actions. Do you have any response to that?
Tom Emmer, certainly has gone in line with our federal administration on many things that are wrong, in my opinion. And he's not representing our St. Cloud area very well and the needs of our students, our families there. He certainly has, been at a place that, I've tried to have conversations with them, and they are way different than what we believe that is best for our students. And again, he's wrong in many things that he's done along the way. So yeah, he's not good for us.
Can you give us just figures to numbers with the districts that you guys are a part of? And I know I'm familiar with Minneapolis being one of the largest in the state. Where does St. Cloud fall again?
We have about 9,000 students in the district, like 14, major school sites and a few other, smaller school sites. But we have students that, it's a pretty large district, geographically. So we do cover a lot of area, and we have students that come in from all over central Minnesota to attend our schools. We have a great school system, and something we're very proud of. We like to keep it that way, but we've been growing too. Every year we get 200 to 300 more students. So.
Bloomington Public Schools has about 9,600 students. We have 2 high schools, 3 middle schools, 10 elementary, an online school, and an early childhood center. We also have a community ed building where many of our families' parents attend. That's anything else?
Yeah, we know. I think overall too, you mentioned the videos from Wednesday, and you've mentioned that you've seen clashes between ICE agents educators' families before. What is the breaking point for you, and what made you want to hold this press conference today?
Thank you for that question. Our educators cannot do the job that they were hired and trained to do because Minnesota's students are not in their classrooms. We wanted to make sure that everyone knew that our students, our staff, our educators are safe, have a place to go to learn. And that was the reason for joining in this Day of Unity, for having this press conference. We urge Minnesotans to stand behind our families and our communities. Our students deserve safe and welcoming schools.
Do you know if any of the federal agents have taken any students or families since they really ramped up this week?
So as far as specific students, some things we're hearing and we're trying to gather and disseminate the correct information. There's a lot of social media posts. There was a student yesterday that was detained at the Target after working at the Target in Richfield. I contacted, since that's my home district, I've tried to contact folks. I heard that he was a student of the Richfield Public Schools. I cannot confirm that because I have not had confirmation on that. That was just from social media posts. But we are hearing from families, from educators, that students are scared. They have had some confrontations, but to actually confirm and get all this information right now amidst all the chaos has been difficult because a lot of those families then want to protect their students and their children and make sure that that they're safe.
What exactly would you do if ICE tried getting into one of your schools? You mentioned that they've been on school property, they've parked in the parking lots. What if we get to a point where they come knocking on the door?
We have implored all of our unions across the state and the school districts to have protocols in place. We need to make sure that what ICE is doing and these federal actions are lawful. So there are sites that will make sure to have a protocol, like go to the district office, have staff come in to those sites if ICE does try to get through those doors. And again, there are things that we can do that are to protect our students, but we also understand that if ICE comes with a federal warrant, we will honor that as best we can and make sure our students and our families are safe. Yeah, thanks.
In St. Cloud, our superintendent, Lori Putnam, has given us some direction on what to do if we do have federal agents doing something at our doors. Have given us some clear instruction on that. We've had some training on it, and that's an unfortunate piece that we've had to train around that. It's time that we're taking away from developing curriculum and working with kids. So what we've done there is we will direct those agents to go to the district office, and we make sure that all of our doors are secure as usual. But we just have to we're on alert when kids are outside for recess, if they're doing things, bus duty when we're outside, we're always looking. And that's just such an uneasiness to it that we're always have to have our ears turned around, wondering, who is that person over there that's around our schools. But we do have protocols in place, and we will legally comply. That's been a directive as well, that we will do that, to the best of our ability.
Are there cohesive plans, like between all the schools, or have you been forced to create a plan individually? Is that something you guys have all discussed together?
I think the superintendents across the state have probably reached out to each other to, work on some common plans. Our superintendent didn't share that with us, but they do on a lot of issues that they try to have some similar plans. But it also depends on the school district and where they're at and what sort of things are happening in that school district. We like to have a lot of local control in what we do, so if there's times that we don't always agree. But
This is my last question for you guys. We saw that Minneapolis Public Schools are allowing remote learning for families that want it. Are a lot of schools across the state considering that? Is that already in place?
So we know Minneapolis has made the decision based on the needs of their students. MDE just issued guidance that if schools need to switch to e-learning, they can do that. In the past, it's been for inclement weather only. So we don't know of other schools currently looking at that, but as ICE activities continue in their communities, it is an option for our schools to be able to offer e-learning for our students so that they can continue to learn. These are days that are interrupted, that educators are not able to teach their students, so there is an opportunity for e-learning if it's needed by our districts.
And so far, Minneapolis is the only one. Right?
So far, Minneapolis is the only one that we know that has taken action on calling e-learning days.
Didn't Columbia Heights and Fridley join them overnight?
You know, they may have. I know that they, because of all the activity yesterday, to be honest with you, I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised after the information that we heard from our leaders and the educators in those areas. Thank you.
How have you guys addressed the students about what's going on?
All right, in Minneapolis, we have been ahead of the game a while. Our superintendent has collaborated with us and administration and buildings to talk about all of the protocols around keeping our kids safe inside and outside of the buildings. And so we've just been ahead of all of these things for a while. And just to be clear, can you say that again just so I can make sure I didn't miss anything?
How you're communicating it to students?
How we communicate. So we send out communication weekly. Sometimes they may get it twice because of, things happening so much every day. But communication we send out weekly to parents and students and staff.
I'll add that, what we do in St. Cloud, and I think in districts across the state, that we care for our students when they're there every day. We try not to be too emotional. We try to stay stable, and that's been a direction or a directive that keep the course, but be on alert and know that there's counselors and other mental health people available in our schools that could help our students. If we see something, we get them to the right resources. We've done some things, getting food pantries and things in place that can help these families. So, we try to, collectively do that around our students. But when we're in the classroom, it's really about our students and the learning that needs to take place. We try to keep that, a lot of the outside influence away from them.
Well, thank you all for being here. We appreciate the time that you've taken to hear us today.
You offer a job?
No. He's like that.